And hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on the Fury of the Mad Monarch. Today we have on Regan, was it?
Reagan.
Reagan.
Yep.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
How's it going? I'm Reagan. I do all kinds of stuff. I write reviews for Game Stakers. I do video content for Only SP, and I write news for All That's Epic. And I have a YouTube channel. All that fun stuff. So yeah, you can come check me out on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. I do lots of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, your YouTube should be listed down in the description on the video.
Very cool.
Yeah, I brought him on today because it was over on the Only SP podcast I was listening to. You mentioned that you think Nintendo should go third party.
Mm-hmm.
I very much disagree with this.
All right.
To start off, what was one of the reasons you think they actually should go third party and to start producing for the other consoles?
Yeah, I don't think it's a content motivated thing. I love the Wii U personally. I think it's a fantastic console. Like what I want them to do and what I think they should do are two different things. This is purely like continual financial success for me. So like they always have a dip. Like their console usually does well when it first starts because it's some interesting new thing, and then it dips off and they lose money. And the Wii U's been doing pretty well, but I think it's probably going to start dipping off. And we've seen this multiple times with them. This start of success and then dip off, and then start of success and then dip off. And so I just think to have like continued financial success, that going third party would be the solution. Either that or getting really, really good third party support for the Wii U, which they haven't been able to line that up for the last two consoles. Well, I guess the GameCube had all right third-party support, but they haven't been able to line that up since the launch of the Wii, so I don't think they're going to be able to get that together now. So I really think the best solution for them to have continued financial success is to be a third-party developer.
In terms of their financial success,
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually see Nintendo having as much of a problem right now.
Yeah.
First, with the Wii U, that was a terrible start.
Uh-huh, definitely.
They kind of pulled a Sega there when they just announced the Wii U out of nowhere. It's going to be out in a few months.
They did. Well, and I remember when they first announced it, nobody had any idea what the thing was. People were like, what is it? Is it a tablet? Is it a improved Wii? Is it a handheld? Like, nobody knew what the damn thing was when they first announced it.
I think it was like a month later I finally realized this is a console? Like,
Yeah.
a full-on console?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, while that opening start was kind of terrible, once we started seeing, like, their first parties roll out, like, I think it was at the launch of Mario Kart, we saw, like, a rather large jump in sales of the system.
Yeah.
And that had been keeping up, like, month after month since then.
But yeah, it's the combined success of Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers have kept the thing afloat for sure.
Indeed, but we are seeing, like, right now Nintendo doing, like, the weird things like Hyrule Warriors, where they brought in the Dynasty Warriors guys, and I love Hyrule Warriors.
Right, yeah, and publishing Bayonetta 2. That was a really interesting move on their part, I gotta say.
That completely derailed me, but
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I was happy with it.
Yep, definitely. But like that's another reason I think they should go third party, because if they have more money to invest in just games instead of having to support their console launches as well, then they can continue to do more risky things like publishing Bayonetta 2 or like making Hyrule Warriors. And I realize that a lot of that is fostered by their need to sell consoles. But I think these two incidents, both Bayonetta 2 and Hyrule Warriors, selling really well. Hyrule Warriors just sold 1 million copies, by the way, which is fantastic for a Wii U game.
Oh, nice. I didn't know the numbers hit that high.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the success of that has realized they can do kind of this more experimental stuff. So I think if they did go third party and focus purely on games, they'd have more revenue with which to do that.
Well, the thing is, if they go third party, you'd really only see revenue go to Nintendo from their first party titles and
Mm-hmm.
any of the weird mixes they do.
Yeah,
Whereas right now they're going to be making money on pretty much anything released for the system.
that's true.
What we are seeing, like they themselves, like bringing in companies, we are seeing them also do, as you mentioned earlier, saving titles like Bayonetta 2,
Yeah.
as well as the upcoming Devil Impact. Some really weird name.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I know they've been, and then the Wonderful 101 was another one. So they've been getting cozy with Platinum Games, and I
Yeah.
am 100% in support of that.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, they may not have, like, the big variety of third-party support other companies have, but like, they're doing the savings of all these smaller games. Well,
Right.
it's really weird to call Bayonetta a smaller game, but
I know. Yeah.
technically it would be.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like one, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Oh. But yeah, they're saying that, like, you bring in like a lot of the little third parties like that that are going to make a big impact,
Hmm.
as well as when they've been buying up like a lot of these smaller studios, like when they acquired Monolith Soft a while back.
Right.
So they have like one of the, basically for me, best RPG powerhouse teams out right now with their Xeno titles.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we're
And
seeing them gather up a lot of like separate niche audiences and just
right.
kind of piling these in.
Yeah, and they've got a bunch of great releases for 2015. They've got new Star Fox supposedly that's they've said is going to drop in 2015, but we're not sure. They've got the new Zelda. They've got Xenoblade Chronicles X. They've got I think Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami was supposed to come out this year, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
I know they said they wanted it to, but no
Yeah,
actual date, so who
right.
knows?
And then Splatoon. I mean, they've definitely got a bunch of good releases lined up. I'm just wondering if the console can keep its momentum because I feel like all those people that went out and bought it for Mario Kart 8 and Smash Wii U, I think those are the people who are going to play the new Zelda, who are going to play Shin Megami Fire Emblem, stuff like that. So I don't know how many more console sales they can squeeze out of the audience of gamers they've built up. Without I mean, I hate to say this because every company does this these days. They target the wider audience, and it leads to a bunch of bullshit in the industry. But if they are to have continued success and keep selling the consoles, I think they need to figure out something other than their core audience. Because we've seen this before, like with the Wii. All the people who bought the Skyward Sword didn't see a huge jump in sales of the console because all the people who were going to play Skyward Sword, they already owned a Wii. So it's difficult with this specific audience they've built to kind of maintain momentum. At least I think. Which is why like they don't have to worry about maintaining momentum on a console if they're third party. They just have to worry about making good games and selling them. I think they do that just fine.
Yeah, because that's always been like one of the nicer strong suits on Nintendo is even if they may not have like the console sales, all of those first party titles they have sold are going to sell very well every
Right.
time.
Definitely. But that's also part of the reason why they don't have as good third party support is because developers know that. I mean, when you go to develop a game for the Wii, if it's not Nintendo, you know it's not going to sell like a Nintendo game. Whereas you can develop a game for a PS4 that'll be just as popular as anything Sony develops generally. Um, so I mean, there's more opportunity for developers on other consoles, which is part of the reason they've had such crap third party support. Um, and then a lot of it is developers' faults too, because I remember at the beginning of the Wii U, they just release these crappy ports of last gen games and expect them to sell, and then when they don't sell, they're like, "Oh, the Wii U sucks." No, it's because you released a crappy port that no one wanted.
Indeed.
I don't know,
Like
man.
maybe the ports were good. I don't know. I did
They
not buy
weren't.
them. Uh,
I played Arkham City Armored Edition. It was mediocre at best. Yeah.
in theory, I don't see why it wouldn't have like performed well. I mean, I think the Wii U is strong enough to handle that.
Yeah, well, the performance wasn't the problem. It was just there was nothing new. There was no reason for anyone other than people who hadn't played it, which was very few people. The window of people who haven't played Arkham City and who own a Wii U, that's a very, very small window. So you're gonna have to do something to kind of spice it up or add something to it. And all they did was they're like, oh, it's the armored edition. You start with armored upgrades. That's literally all they changed. That was their big selling point. Like, you're gonna have to pull something better than that out to get me to shell out $50 for a game I already own.
Yeah, like I already loved Arkham. Like,
Yeah.
I even liked the third one, Origins, even though it wasn't as good.
Yeah, it still had the solid gameplay. So
Yeah, I'm not going to buy just a slightly tweaked version on Wii U. As much as I love my Wii U,
yeah,
not
definitely.
gonna happen.
Well, and they didn't advertise it as much either. That's the other problem, because like Assassin's Creed 3, I think it dropped at the same time on Wii U as it did PS3 and Xbox 360. Well, Microsoft and PS3 are going to be pushing out huge amounts of advertisement for that, because that's like one of their big games. Nintendo doesn't really give a shit. Their big games are Zelda and Mario, so why should they care to push out advertisement for this game that goes against their image a little bit? Although they have been changing their image. I mean, publishing Bayonetta 2 is obvious enough with that.
Or the advertising campaign with Playboy for it?
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah!
That's funny.
Yeah, Playboy is advertising Bayonetta 2.
That's
They got
pretty awesome, actually.
one of their model people to dress up as Bayonetta.
Huh.
Like, it wasn't even a good photo shoot either. But still, Playboy and Nintendo.
Strange. Huh.
We live in strange times now.
Yeah, but it's cool that they're willing to step outside of their comfort zone a little. I think that's interesting.
Here's the thing, like, I think Nintendo's always been willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not something they've typically went out of their way to do. I mean,
right.
You know Rare, right? Maker of
definitely.
So many amazing Nintendo titles before they sold out to Xbox for some reason.
Yep.
They made Conker's Bad Fur Day.
That is true. I just remember when that game came out, they had to put a little marker on the box that said, like, this is not for children. Because it was an N64 game, and it had this like cute little squirrel and anthropomorphic bunny on the front. So they had to like put a sticker that said, "Do not buy this for your children."
Like, the thing is, like, with Nintendo proper and all their development studios, their focus has always been on something for all ages, basically.
Right.
Like, there's nothing they seem to have against the mature-rated content. They just don't really develop it. So you look at their first-party support, and, well, you see nothing but the kid games, and, well, that's what Nintendo's going to advertise the most is their first party. So it kind of gives them an image of not liking the more mature-rated stuff when they really have no issue.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, like, 20 years ago, they had all their censorship going on the NES and the SNES with their approval and labels and stuff, but, I mean, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was more Nintendo America, I thought, that was doing that.
That was, yeah. But yeah, like I said, that was 23 years ago, so they've definitely changed. I would really like to see them develop in, like, an M-rated game. I want to see Nintendo do, like, a hardcore first-person shooter, because with the way they just perfectly polish their games and just have, like, these excellently designed games, I want to see what they can do with that. I would honestly really like to see that.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not a big first-person shooter fan, but I'd give it a
go. As a big Call of Duty fan, I'd really love to see like a Call of Duty Halo-style Nintendo shooter. That would be pretty sweet. I'd like to see what they can do with that.
I don't even know what to expect from something like that.
Well, Splatoon's kind of that. It's like their classic
third-person
shooter, but I mean, it's all cutesy and, you know, colorful, which I absolutely have no problem with. If there's anything we need more of, it does. If there's anything we need more of, it's colorful games. So I'm down with it.
But that's kind of one reason I don't know. Another one, I don't think it'd be a good idea for Nintendo to go, like, third-party developer. Is, like, right now, they kind of have that motivation to bring in these people to do all these new things with their IP to create something else.
Right.
Well, the big reason they're reaching out to these other teams is, well, they need to give people reasons to buy Wii U's.
Yeah. I
take
see
that
that.
away,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen as much.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a distinct design philosophy Nintendo has.
Very much
Like,
so. Yeah.
for example, like if you look back to like the whole GameCube era, if you look at system specs from like GameCube, Xbox, and PS2, yeah, that was all the one same era.
Yeah.
GameCube was the strongest system.
It was. It was a very powerful system.
But you would never know that looking at most of their games up until Twilight Princess, anyway.
Right.
But,
right. Yeah, which is part of the reason why when these underpowered consoles get released, because they always like to have their console out the gate early, which usually leads to them releasing kind of underpowered hardware. And people were freaking out that the Wii U wasn't going to be as powerful as like the PS4 or the Xbox One. I don't get why people care. Like, do you really need that? I mean, if you look at Super Mario 3D World, that's a gorgeous game. Like, you don't need PS. What's the PS4 level of architecture going to do for the Wii U? Honestly, it's not going to do anything. I'll be able to see the individual hairs on Mario's mustache. Oh, great! That's what I've always wanted.
Indeed, but you do know, so like when you look at Xbox and Sony, and well, I do admit to being a bit of a Sony fanboy. They really like to push the big graphics. They like to encourage everyone to put all that focus on the big graphics.
They do. And that's
how much would that clash with Nintendo?
Right, like, that is true.
They've already got such the good philosophy working for them.
Yeah, I still think, though, that like Nintendo has such a good reputation and their games sell so well. If they went to Sony and they were like, we want to put a Zelda game on your platform, don't tell us how to make it. This is how we're making it. We're putting it on your platform. I'm pretty sure Sony would be more than okay with that.
I do think it's possible. But at the same time, like, I don't see the reason to take the risk.
Right.
Like, they can already make that awesome Zelda game right now on their own terms without having to worry about splitting profits with Sony.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, like, immediately they need to go third party, like, today. I'm just saying I don't think it would be wise for them to go into the next console generation whenever or if that ever happens and try and produce another console to keep up. I think it would be smarter for them to just make games. Even if it's not for a big console, even if it's just producing games for PC. I mean, on PC, they could still do whatever they wanted on PC because it's such an open platform. But at the same time, they would have to... The one issue I do see is they would have to change a lot of their internal development because they've been developing on their own architecture for decades. So, I mean, suddenly switching to PC development might be difficult for their staff, but I've never programmed a game. I mean, I have, but it's all been very basic stuff. So, like, I don't know what's involved in that kind of switch, but I could see that causing some problems.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people, like, apparently had some issues, just even experienced programmers jumping into new architecture, which was the whole problem with the PS3, is it was way too different.
Yeah, the PS3's architecture was insanity. The development kit, like the original PS3 development kit, was just a big-ass box with all these components in it. It wasn't, like, people think PS3 development kit, they think it's like some PS3 that you can mod or whatever. No, this was just a big box with all the PS3 components in it that you could send code to. Yeah, so it was a bit of a mess when it launched.
Yeah, like, I kind of wish more developers put the effort into it because it worked so much better once you learned it.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was a lot to just randomly start asking you. Like, hey, develop for this. How? Yeah. You figure it out.
Yeah, and yeah, the manual that came with those original development was like literally the size of a textbook. And And like if you look at it takes a long time to learn how to develop for those consoles. I mean, if you look at something like a launch title, look at Haze for the PS3 versus say The Last of Us. I mean, The Last of Us has like almost PC quality graphics, and Haze looks like a PS2 game. And that's not the quality of the development staff. That's just learning all the ins and outs of the hardware and how to squeeze that little extra bit of performance out of it. So, I mean, it can take a long, long time to fully learn how to like completely develop for these consoles.
I don't know about Haze. Didn't that come out a good ways after the console started?
I think it was a launch title. Let me look it up just to be sure, but I think it was a launch title.
Because I swore that one came out a bit later. Because I thought the consoles were out, and then there was this bunch of hype for this great new game, and what everyone got was Haze.
Oh, 2008. Yeah, it was a couple years after. You're right. Huh.
Yeah. There was no excuse for Haze. Like, I didn't play it because, again, I'm not a shooter fan, but I've seen it in action.
I mean, it gets a little too much hate because it has interesting ideas, but it's not a good game overall. I can definitely say that.
I remember hearing a story from one of my friends who got it. He still plays it from time to time just when he doesn't want to think.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it's really funny to just walk past the enemies and the turrets aren't firing at him.
Yeah. A lot of I don't know what to say about that game because it has interesting ideas and the writing is like I can't decide if it's terrible or great. I honestly can't. I just really don't even know what to think of that game. It is a strange beast.
Sorry, I know how you feel. I played through the Fate's Day Night visual novel quite a while back.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I love or hate that thing.
Yeah. I'm not a big visual novel guy. I think the only visual novels I've done were 999 and Song of Saya, which is like a Silent Hill the visual novel, except way more dark and twisted, if you can believe that.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Very.
I've only played a few of them before.
Yeah.
They're an interesting thing in and of themselves.
Yeah. Very much so. And yeah, it's part of that big debate of if it's a game or not that I don't even think should be a debate, really.
They are games.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to say it's a game, it's a game. I don't care. What does it matter to me? You could put a fish in a box and tell me it's a game. If you want it to be a game, it's a game. It doesn't matter to me. It's no skin off my teeth.
I don't know. I'm debating on the one I'm going through right now, just so I kind of have a game to fill some space, like a time space between now and my next releases.
Yeah.
It's called Eden.
Uh-huh.
And I have not made one choice this entire game, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to beat it.
Oh, yeah. That's a different genre. I can't remember what it's called, but there's actually a name for that. It's something... It's a different genre, but it's just visual novels with no choices.
It's a visual picture. It's a picture book.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. I mean, that's what visual novels were kind of meant to be from the beginning, but they just added in these choices so it'd be a little more gamey. But yeah, it is basically a picture book.
Yeah.
There's another game like that on Steam that I was looking at that, like, I guess I get why people are interested in it, but I would much rather just read a book. I don't know. Or watch a movie. It's a strange concept that I can't fully wrap my head around, but to those who enjoy it, I mean, more power to you.
I can kind of wrap my head around it because it's like a weird mix of all of these different elements that you don't really get anywhere else.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
It's this entirely different experience from other types of games, reading.
Right.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. It is.
I'm trying to remember what the last point on Nintendo we made was.
I don't even remember. We kind of got a little off topic, didn't we?
I think we went off topic a few times in a few different
Yeah.
ways.
Oh well.
All right.
Yeah, third party Nintendo. I don't know if you want to give your. I think I gave my like general summary to start off. So if you just want to like give your general summary, that would be cool.
Yeah, basically general summary of what we've done talked so far is I like how Nintendo just with their basically the full reins over what they produce are giving us such a great variety of stuff. They've been saving games that otherwise wouldn't have been made. And I'm not sure if they could really do that if they were to go third party now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another weird thing to note about Nintendo's console history is since like the whole PlayStation era and onward, every company loses money per console sale except Nintendo.
Yeah.
They have like this amazing R&D team because again, GameCube, strongest of its generation, cheapest system out of all of them, and somehow the only one making money.
Yeah, they always bring something interesting to the table, whether that be motion control with the Wii, dual screens with the DS, 3D with the 3DS, gamepad with the Wii U. They always have something new and fresh, and I really like that about them. So like I said, I don't want Nintendo to stop developing consoles. In an ideal world, they would be the only ones developing consoles. Because I mean, the PS4 and the Xbox are just kind of underpowered PCs, whereas Nintendo always brings something unique to the table. So if I had my way, they'd be the only ones manufacturing consoles. But I think for them to have continued financial success, I think going third party would probably be the best solution for them.
That implies they're not doing awesome right now.
Well, they are doing awesome right now, but there's probably going to be a dip coming because we've seen this pattern before where they like the Wii was killing it in the first year it was out. It was destroying all the other consoles, and then it didn't sell jack for the rest of the console cycle. So they've had difficulty maintaining momentum in the past, and so if they can keep up the momentum they have with the Wii U right now, I'll put my foot in my mouth. I will admit that I was totally wrong. But I think they're going to have trouble maintaining that momentum. Because another thing I already said, but I'm going to say it again, whatever, is like all the people who own a Wii U, who Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. U gave them a huge boost in sales. Well, the people who bought the Wii U for Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros., those are the people who are going to play the new Zelda, who are going to play the new Star Fox. So it's going to be hard for them to find new sales while making these games. So that's my point, I guess. And they could be financially successful on the consoles they've sold now, just pushing out games. But I mean, why not put? Because like I said, they're probably not going to move a whole lot more units. So why not? They don't even have to do it with a big one like the new Zelda or whatever. Why not put like Splatoon on PC or something and just test the waters and see how it goes? I mean, I know they're never ever going to do that, but I think it would be cool.
See, I've pulled up like a list of the Wii sales on Wikipedia by year, and there wasn't really any dip I'm seeing.
Really? See, I always thought that they sold really well when it first launched, and then.
See, in 2007 we had like the first one was like 20 million. To 2008 we go up to 44. 2009 they sold 67.
Damn.
2010 they're up to 75. Every year they were seeing a steady growth in Wii sales.
Huh, I did not know that. I thought the Wii was not as successful, honestly.
Yeah, like in 2011 it hit 94.97 million.
Mm-hmm.
And from 2011 to 14 we saw like the slowdown in sales.
Yeah.
But yeah. 101.4 million worldwide by 2014.
That's a pretty solid number, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And the 3DS kind of did that too. I don't know what it is with Nintendo and console launches. I think they just don't have a good launch strategy because the 3DS came out and it sold terribly because all it had was Steel Diver and Pilot Wings. That was like
I
all
think
they
that's
had.
it. Like, you go to Nintendo to buy the first-party Nintendo titles you want.
Right, right.
They didn't have that with the last couple console releases.
That's
Like, it
true.
was nearly a year before the Wii U started seeing the good stuff come out.
Yeah. Well, the Wii U had good titles on launch. It's just titles
Well,
they
yeah.
didn't know were good. Like Zombie U was actually a really. I got the Wii U day one, so I've had it since it came out. But Zombie U was a really great title actually, but nobody bought it, which is part of the reason why when people talk about how they're like sad that survival horror is gone and all that, I kind of just roll my eyes because like then a survival horror game comes out like Zombie U and nobody buys it. Like I bought it, I did my part. So I don't know. It's people have double
I,
standards with that.
I was never a big fan of survival horror titles for the most part, so I
Yeah.
just skipped it. Plus,
Horror games are my favorite genre, so
they
it
don't
was
scare me.
no,
So,
they don't scare me either. I just really like that. I've always liked like horror atmosphere even since I was younger. Like the old Tales from the Crypt comics, I've always loved those, and like horror movies, horror games, just like the atmosphere and writing. I find like the darker side of human nature far more interesting to explore. So horror's just kind of appealed to me since I was young.
like, if it's a horror, I at least want to feel a little unnerved by what I'm reading or watching.
Yeah,
Most just don't do that at all for me.
I can see
Like,
that. Yeah.
Silent Hill could do it,
Mhm.
but I can never get into it because the control scheme is just frustrating as hell.
Yeah,
I don't think you need a bad control scheme to make these things effective.
no,
That is
no. I
terrible
agree.
argument.
The new the Resident Evil remake actually had a new control scheme where you can just move normally. Um, and the thing is, I'm so used to the old style of controls that I couldn't do it. Like I tried to start out with the new ones and I was doing all right, and then the first zombie showed up and I tried to backpedal and I just turned around and he bit me, so I was like, oh, screw this, and I switched back to the old controls because I was just so used to it.
I hate Resident Evil so much.
Really, the
like,
old ones?
like this was me playing the very first Resident Evil.
Uh huh.
Is I go through like it's like I get to what was one of the first puzzles in the game. I don't even remember, but they had that puzzle element to it.
Yeah.
I like back on the Super. I played a lot of RPGs, including Lufia 2: Legend of the Sinistrals. If you've ever played that one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
go from those puzzles to Resident Evils, and
Yeah.
it's like they're not even puzzles.
Yeah,
They're roadblocks that are just there. Like, waste your time on this.
yeah. And I don't think it was supposed to be any like brain bending stuff. Generally, I think it was kind of supposed to just break the pacing a little bit, so you're not constantly running from zombies. Because like with horror, it loses its effect. But I could see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
You didn't like Resident Evil 4 though?
it's the thing. I just don't like shooters that
Oh yeah, yeah,
much.
yeah. Resident Evil 4
Just
is one of my favorites.
yeah, it's the whole first-person shooter. It's just not a genre that appeals to me. I can
Yeah.
see why Resident Evil 4 is a good game.
Uh huh.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a horror game, but
No, no. It's just it's horror action. It has horror theming, but it's really an action game. But it's still,
yeah.
I think it's a great game regardless.
Which is sad because I could actually get into Destiny a little bit, and that is like one of the most mediocre games I've ever played.
It really is. It's not a good shooter.
Like, it works fine mechanically.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's
really
just
do anything with it.
yeah. It's just boring.
I think I only made it through because I had some friends I just BS with going through it.
Yeah, yeah. That'll help.
I stopped playing by the time Vault of Glass actually dropped, which I heard is actually legitimately good.
I played for
But
a couple hours, so I don't. I'm not really up on my Destiny news.
the funniest part is, I'm sure you know about the terrible Engram random loot system.
Yeah, and the
I'm-
like loot cave and all that.
Well, Yeah, I didn't know about the loot cave until I stopped playing, but
Oh yeah.
like somehow, like a bit before I actually hit level 20 when the gear starts mattering, I
Uh-huh.
got a yellow Ingram.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about this at the time, the whole terribleness of the system, or I had barely even been paying attention to the color coding.
Right.
First one I got, I pulled an exotic.
Nice. Nice.
And it was a hand cannon, which is the kind of weapon I was using.
Nice. That's fun.
So it took a second. I'm like, everyone's like, "Oh, I can't get a good weapon." I'm like, "Really? It's hard?" Then I started
Yeah.
looking at it, like, "Wow, I lucked out."
Yeah, no kidding. That's funny.
I got like the most epic hand cannon in the game before updates, and just first shot.
That's that's funny. We've talked like maybe like 50% Nintendo.
I'm used to this by this point on this show.
Yeah, it just kind of veers off. That's cool. I'm totally cool with it. It's fun.
Yeah. I do have like one last point on the whole Nintendo shouldn't go third party, or really none of the consoles should start going third party with their first party studios.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Is right now we have like your PC, 360. Why did I call it 360? Xbox One, PS4, Wii U. We've got basically 4 strong competitors right now.
Yeah.
Removing one of them is going to do nobody any good. Especially not Nintendo, who are about the only ones really trying new things right now.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
So any reduction of competition is a terrible thing.
I could definitely see that. I didn't really think about that aspect of it. But yeah, like I said, I don't want Nintendo to go third party. I would love them to keep developing consoles. I think it might be a good financial move for them. But I mean, I have not researched out this point. This is just off the cuff. So don't take anything I say too seriously. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I went ahead and pulled up the Wii sales, because I'm like, I really don't recall a dip happening, ever.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought I'm probably just wrong. But yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't until like 2012 it started seeing drops, and
Yeah.
oh wow, it actually spiked again at the end of 2012.
That's
like
awesome.
there was a drop through most of it,
and
in like the last months it shot up a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, if Nintendo can fix their third party support, that would be great too. I don't see them having any huge motivation to do that because their games are what have moved their system. Honestly, like Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Brothers, those are what moved their system, and that was them.
Yeah.
So like, I think if they get some like I'm sure Bayonetta 2 moved some units, but if they could get like a really big third party exclusive and have it move a bunch of Wii U's, I think that would be good for them too, because they would see that third parties aren't useless. They can't. While they can generally support a console on their own, it would definitely help them to have some third party support.
I actually think Nintendo may have had the better strategy here. Specifically, it's one of those things when I started looking at it, they might actually be beating out Sony for largest first party, and that's because they've been buying up like smaller studios. Like again, when they bought out Monolith Soft. So they might third party support may not be as big of a deal for them just because of how massive and high quality their first party is right now.
That's true. Well, first/second party. I guess Bayonetta isn't a third party title, it's a second party title, but I mean that's just semantics really.
Yeah. But when you have like Monolith Soft, that is a first party now.
Yeah.
That's just Nintendo.
Right.
All the other studios they got working, like the Fire Emblem team, Game Freak, with their Pokemon stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Their first party has an insane just breadth of amazing talent and titles they can pump out.
Yeah, they really do. And if they can keep buying up developers, we'll see some really amazing stuff from Nintendo. Not that we aren't already, but even more amazing stuff. They should just buy Platinum. I'm just going to say it right now. They should just buy Platinum. Do it. Like, there's no reason not to.
They might as well.
I would so not complain if Nintendo purchased I mean, that would be one of the most design-centric studios being purchased by the most publish-centric or like polish-centric publishers. I see no way that could be anything but amazing.
Like, I know they were like one of the big names being thrown around to buy out Atlas after Index crashed a while ago.
Oh, really? That'd be cool too. Dude, I want to do Demon Souls on Wii. Well, I guess Sony owns that, not Atlas. Yeah.
Well, Demon Souls was just published by Atlas.
Yeah, yeah.
Dark Souls was published by Namco Bandai.
Yeah. And they had Pac-Man, so they had Namco Bandai in on Super Smash Bros. Wii U, but there was no Solaire. I will not stand for this. They need to have Solaire in DLC for Super Smash Bros. Wii U. It needs to happen, or I will not be satisfied with my purchase.
Oh god, my mind is drawing a blank on Solaire right now.
The sun, the Praise the Sun guy in Dark Souls. Yeah.
Well, of course he's not going to be in Smash Bros.
I want it.
That would be awesome.
I just want it. I mean, there's a wealth of characters they could pull from. They pulled in Sega, they pulled in Namco, they pulled in Capcom. I mean, if they want to start doing DLC, they could pull in some really awesome characters. So I hope they do that. That's the other thing they've gotten adjusted to, because before they were no DLC, no DLC. Now they're making the best DLC there is on the market. They're fair with their prices. They're making interesting content. They have good releases. So anything, Nintendo's always late to the game, but once they get to the game, they own it. So I mean, that's the interesting thing about them.
I don't know, I think the most interesting thing on Nintendo is they are simultaneously ahead of everybody else on so much of this stuff
and behind.
Like, yeah. I was so happy their DLC stuff's turning out not a joke.
Yeah, oh, their Mario Kart 8 DLC's awesome.
Yeah, like, when I first heard they're going DLC, I'm like, oh god, Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can trust you doing online stuff, but
yeah,
they got that.
They're killing it.
I love the Nintendo Directs.
Yeah, those are really cool. That's a great idea.
Especially when they did it at E3 last year.
Really cool. That was a ballsy move, too.
Firstly, I know it's not related to the games or anything, but that whole opening of Reggie and Iwata fighting was awesome.
Yes, it was.
But they did a shorter presentation than anybody else, yet so many more games they showed gameplay footage of.
Right, and it's because Nintendo isn't about that's part of the reason they're late to all this stuff. They're not about the tech, they're not about the graphics, they're about making good games. And that's why I really love them. And also, another thing they've been killing lately is online multiplayer. Smash Wii U has great online multiplayer. I mean, Mario Kart 8 has great online support. I mean, I know it's not a Nintendo game, but Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate has great online, and it can cross-play with the 3DS, which is a cool feature. I mean, everything they do, they own it. Yeah.
It's because they don't half-ass anything.
Right. It's just getting them to do it is the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little like old school in their mindset. They just hold on to all the best and worst aspects of that.
Definitely. Did you see their YouTube program that just got announced?
That was something I wanted to bring up for when they were so far behind.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. Like, hey, give us free PR for our games and half your money. That is anything to begin with.
Like, don't do that, Nintendo. Don't. I love you guys. Please stop.
I don't know what lawyer wrote that and was like, yeah, that'll work. But they need to be fired immediately.
I mean, I guess it's technically legal.
It's legal. It's just stupid. It's not. Nobody's gonna bite on that except people who are already massive channels. And when it's already a massive, it's not the massive channels you have to win over. They're giving you free PR. You don't need to take a cut of their money too. It's the smaller channels that don't make any money. That the only thing you're getting out of it is PR. Those are the people you need to win over. And when you're saying, hey, we're going to take half of your money that's jack shit anyways. Like, you're not going to win them over. That's a bad move.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
They make me sad sometimes.
I know. They make all these fantastic games and have all this great content, and then they just make stupid business decisions.
Like what,
It's
when they
very
pulled the
strange.
Smash Bros. stream from...
Yeah, I remember that.
But then immediately, whoa, we'll put it back. Please don't hate us.
Yeah, they're very, I think one of the best comparisons I've heard is they're very much a den mother. They feel like they have to, like, protect all of their customers. You can see that in, like, how overly censoring they are in the Miiverse. Like, you can't, even in a mature-rated game Miiverse, you can't do anything mature-rated, or you will get immediately banned. You can't communicate with microphones in their games online unless you're playing with friends. You have to do, like, preset text messages. They're very, very protective of their audience, and I think part of that arises from them previously having this family image. They feel like they've built up this family image, so now they have a bunch of kids playing their games and they need to protect them. When that's not always the case. I guarantee you most of the people that bought New Super Mario Bros. U are people who grew up playing Mario and are like 20, 22, 23. Not a bunch of little kids. I'm sure little kids did buy it, but I really don't think that's a majority of their audience on a game like that.
I don't know if it's the majority, but I think Nintendo's kind of like at that happy medium of a lot of kids are playing these games, a lot of adults are playing these games.
Definitely.
Again, they're stuff everybody is able to enjoy.
Yeah, and that's another really cool thing about it, but I feel like if they were just, I'm not even saying just like don't protect your audience at all, don't have any controls, but just back off a little bit. I mean, we live in the age of the internet anyway. Let's be real. These kids who have a Wii U console connected to the internet, chances are they've probably seen some shit. So you really don't need to protect them all that much.
The internet is a horrifying place.
It really is, and it's incredibly easy to access. So, I mean, it's kind of redundant to be protecting them that hard when they obviously have internet access. They can't have been that sheltered.
You know, I think maybe they could just like put in some code on the consoles to have like a parental control to block the audio from other people's microphones.
Right. They've even got parental controls already in place on like what games you can and can't play on a console. So that would be a simple feature to add in. I mean, I don't know. It's a little strange, but it's not my console, so
yeah. And it's not like I've ever cared about talking with random people online for the most part anyway.
No, not really. It's just a pain when you're, because like in Smash Bros. You can't talk during the match. You can only do it in the lobby with your friends. So like you can't talk trash on each other while you're playing. You have to wait till the match is over and then talk your trash. So I mean, it's a little annoying.
It was great. Like back on just the Wii. You could like put in the small messages on your taunts in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that was cool.
But you know, you could type your own in. I found just the greatest way to get a censor and just put in something horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Well, not horrifying for me, but
horrifying for Nintendo.
But I just assigned a different message onto each one of my things, and it just spelled out, "You went down faster than your mother." I had to go through all my taunts to do this.
That's funny.
It was so worth it.
That's great. Yeah, and another thing with all these controls and things like that, people are always gonna find ways around it. You're not protecting anyone when you block voice chat. People are gonna figure out a way to harass little kids anyway. It's what
really, you're just going to force people to get creative, which is kind of worse.
Yeah, you're just putting an extra layer between them that isn't really gonna hold them back that long anyway.
Yeah. But it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I don't think they're ever going to pull back on.
Probably not.
I think they're going to have the foresight to eventually get rid of those stupid YouTube programs they're doing now.
I would hope so. At least with the overwhelming backlash we've seen against it, I would hope they, if not completely get rid of it, change it somehow to where maybe they take a smaller cut, or they don't take a cut. You just have to approve it through them first, or something. But it needs to change.
I think they just need to adopt the policy of just do the Let's Play, man.
Right. I mean, it's
Go
free
for it.
PR. I guarantee you there are tons of kids out there. And especially since they think their audience is so kid-centric. Well, if it is, who do you think's watching all these Let's Plays? I mean, a lot of that is 10, 11, 12-year-old kids that are going to go buy your game if they like it. I mean, especially when you're 10, 11, 12, 13, and 40, 50 bucks, that's a huge deal to you. You're not just going to go buy a game because you saw a commercial and it looked cool. When you have all these Let's Plays available, you're going to watch a bunch of Let's Plays, you're going to watch channels you like, you're going to see, oh, this guy that I really like likes this game, I'm going to go buy it. That's great PR right there. If you really want to build this child-centric audience, you need to be all for the Let's Plays. You need to be not just letting people do it, you need to be doling out copies to people to do Let's Plays.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll boost your sales among the younger audience tenfold.
Indeed.
Yep.
Looking at my list, I think this next year, like, the Wii U has the most titles I'm, like, the most anticipated for.
Really? Yeah.
New Zelda, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that's not going to be awesome. And if it's not, I will cry.
It looks awesome.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yep, that's going to be cool.
I don't know, my PS4 has Bloodborne and Persona 5.
Oh, is Persona 5 PS4 exclusive?
3 and 4, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, now I'm looking forward to that. Previously, Bloodborne was the only thing I really cared about. But, yeah, when you look at Nintendo, they've got like 5, 6 games I really want on their console.
Splatoon, Star Fox.
Yeah, everything else I can get on PC, or it's like one good game. Like Halo 5, yeah, I want that. But I mean, there are largely substantiated rumors going around that it's going to be on PC eventually anyway.
It's Halo. They're going to put it on PC. Microsoft aren't dumb.
Yeah, well, and
yes, they are, but not that dumb. I hope they're not that dumb.
They even stated, like, not that long ago that they're putting Fable Legends on PC because they want to focus on their PC brand. So, I mean, it would be a egregious move not to put Halo 5 on PC. And like I said, there are largely substantiated rumors that it's going to be on PC eventually. So I don't have to buy an Xbox One for that. Sunset Overdrive, which I wanted an Xbox One for, that's coming to PC, so I don't have to buy an Xbox One for that.
Oh, it's coming to PC? Awesome!
Yes, it is.
That's the only reason I would want an Xbox One right now is Sunset Overdrive.
Yep, it's coming to PC though, so.
Awesome.
And then on the PS4 side, we got Bloodborne.
Which that's published by Sony, so that's not leaving PS4.
I know, but that's it. That's all there is. I mean, the Wii U is like 5, 6, maybe even 7 games that I like really want this year. So I mean, their exclusives are killing it, and that's what's floating their system right now.
I know, and they're all great.
Yeah, they really are. I've been so I write for a review site called GameStakers.com, and it's just reviews for like any time period. You don't have to review brand new games. You can review any game you want.
Why was I thinking that was pronounced Stalkers? I saw the link, or Game Stalkers on there somewhere, and I'm like, Game Stalkers, and it just sounded right in my head.
It might look like that, but yeah, it's Game Stalkers.
Okay.
So I've basically been going through my Wii U library and just reviewing. I've been playing like nothing but Nintendo games for the last 2 weeks. I reviewed Smash Bros. Wii U. I reviewed Mario Kart 8. I just finished Mario 3D World. Working on New Super Mario Bros. U. And it doesn't get old. I've been playing nothing but Nintendo games. That's the thing. Like, when I play PC games or, like, these big AAA games, after I play, like, 1 or 2, I'm like, this is all the same. I'm bored. I can play Nintendo games for years, and I will not get bored of them. Just because they bring something unique to the table every time, and they're so, so polished and well-designed.
You know what we need? We need another collab of Nintendo and Square Enix to make another Super Mario RPG.
I would be so okay with that. Especially since Paper Mario Sticker Star was kind of eh. I would be so
Yeah.
very okay with that.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like the Paper
Yeah.
Mario, Thousand Year Door, great
Uh-huh.
games.
Definitely.
But I want another Super Mario RPG.
Oh, definitely. It's a different game. I mean, it doesn't really. Paper Mario is great, but it's not the same game.
I know.
Plus, with all the characters they've added to like the Super Mario, I guess you'd call it lore. I don't know. That sounds weird to say about Mario, but I guess with all the characters you've added to the Mario lore lately, I mean, you could do so much stuff with that. You could have Rosalina, you could have Nabbit, you could have Bowser Jr. There are so many more options to explore in that universe than there were 20 years ago when they made the first Mario RPG. It would be awesome.
I know, it didn't stop him from bringing in, like, Geno and Mallow.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a cool game. I'm just
Yeah.
saying they have so much more content to use now.
I'm sad they've not used Geno since then.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool.
Like, I know he was, like, one of the highest wanted characters for Smash Brothers, but it's never
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, they just kind of dropped that game. Like they made it, and then they just kind of have pretended it doesn't exist for the last 20 years.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. It's
Everybody
unfortunate.
loved it.
Yeah, it's a great game, and everybody likes it. There's nobody who's like, oh, that game sucked. Who actually? I mean, I'm sure there are some people, but I mean, it's very well liked, and it did really well. So I don't know why they're just pretending like it never happened.
Well, it was great. Back when I was, like, younger, still living at home with parents and whatnot,
Yeah.
I sat and beat that game in one sitting.
Yeah. Nice.
That was so great.
I remember when Mario 64 came out, I would get up early in the morning before school, play it, go to school, just think about playing it all day, come home, play it till I went to bed, repeat for like 2 weeks. That's just what Nintendo games do to you. They just take over your life because they're just so high quality.
That's the other reason we should keep Nintendo around is, do you know how sad this industry would be if Nintendo just wasn't its own console anymore?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure there would be like no colorful games anymore if Nintendo just kind of disappeared. It would just all be brown gray.
That would be so sad.
Yeah, which is another reason I really like their games is because they're not going with the brown gray just because it's what's popular. They're keeping their own style because they know it's what's good. Their games are so colorful and vibrant and just fun to look at. It's great.
Indeed, like, I'm still looking forward to, like, a lot of their 3DS titles too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
Majora's Mask 3D.
that's gonna be sweet.
Like, I wish they would do it for Wii U instead so I could play it on my giant TV, but
That would be awesome.
I will take the 3DS remake.
Yeah. But, I mean, plus Wind Waker HD. If you want to do that to a couple more Zelda games, I would not complain. Give me a Twilight Princess HD. I'd play it.
I rate that kind of low on the Zelda scale, but yes, I would still play it.
I do too, but I mean,
It's still Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. A bad Zelda game is still a Zelda game, so.
It's like picking the Final Fantasy game with the worst music.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still Final Fantasy music.
Yeah.
I mean, they've definitely made some terrible games, but the music was good.
Yeah. Did you see that? What do you think of Final Fantasy 15?
I really don't want to be excited after all the previous games, because I know this is going to let me down, but it looks so good.
It really does. It looks awesome. I'm hoping that they don't mess it up. I was actually watching an interesting video the other day. I don't remember who put it together, but they were talking about like how the entire like Japanese gaming market pretty much hinges on this game being good, because the Japanese gaming market's been in a little bit of a decline lately, especially with regards to console sales. And they're just starting, but like a lot of Japanese game players are starting to switch over to PC now, which is why you're seeing more JRPGs, more visual novels, that kind of stuff arriving on PC, because it's becoming a larger trend. So, I mean, this is, other than Nintendo games, which are going to keep coming out, this is like the big premier Japanese console game. So, like, it needs to be good. It really does. And I hope it's good, because what I've seen so far is promising. But, yeah, like you said, after 13 and it's 2 sequels for God knows what reason, I don't really trust them.
I don't know though. Like, if you look at Japan, apparently they really like Final Fantasy 13 down there.
Really?
Yeah.
That is...
It's one of the weird ones. Like, they love Lightning over in Japan, where the rest of the world hates her.
She's... I like the design, but she's like... She has less personality than a block of wood. She really does.
Whoever wrote the character is kind of mixing up the strong, badass woman with just kind of a bitch.
Yeah, and she's just boring. Like, her voice is so monotone, and it's just boring to watch. And plus, it's those 13. I played 13.2 very, very briefly, and I haven't touched 13.3. But I mean, from what I played, they're all just big hallways, which is so not what the series is even about.
Like, I know a lot of the games can get pretty linear, but they're not that bad.
No, it's literally just a hallway. That's it. It's just a bunch of hallways.
The greatest description I've heard of the game, like, after going on about the hallways, is when you look at the level system, it looks like there's different paths you can go, but since it caps it, your leveling is basically streamlined the whole game, which means even leveling up is a fucking hallway.
Yeah, it is. Did you find it, like, stupidly difficult, too?
Some of the, what do you call them? The Eidolon fights were stupid.
I don't know if it was just me, but, like, I got stuck on, like, multiple bosses. I remember I stopped playing 13 because I got stuck on this one boss. I tried, like, 40 to 50 times. I couldn't beat it. I read guides. I did everything the guide online said. I still couldn't beat it. I have no idea what was going on, but it was just, like, ridiculously difficult.
I didn't really have a trouble outside of some of the terribly designed Eidolon fights.
I probably just suck at RPGs, but who knows?
I don't know, RPGs are like my main thing.
Yeah, the only JRPG I've really played like super extensively is older Final Fantasy games 7 and 3 and Persona 4.
I'm assuming you mean Persona like 4. 6 when you said 3.
The American 3 Japanese.
Yeah. But yes, Persona 4 may be my favorite game of all time.
I wasn't expecting it either because I'm not a big JRPG guy. Like, I don't have any problem with them. I'll play it. If a JRPG comes out and people say it's good, I'll get it and play it. But I don't actively, like, seek them out. But when I picked up my Vita, I heard that, like, Persona 4 Golden was the must-own game for the Vita. So I saw a used copy of it. I was like, oh, why not? I'll get it.
I still not played the Golden version.
It is incredible. I played nothing else for like 2 weeks. I just sat and just played that game nonstop. It was so good.
I assume you beat the game, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for everyone listening, you might want to stop now if you've not beaten Persona 4.
Yeah.
Go out and play it.
Yeah, do that.
I am about to spoil something that will ruin the entire game for you.
Yeah.
Well, not the entire game, but a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
It's alright, like, this is the one reason, like, I've been hesitant to play through Golden. Like, I own Golden, and I have, like, the PS TV set up because I'd rather play on my TV than the handheld.
Right.
But the one big thing that was keeping me from really wanting to sink in and get through was one of the added social links.
Mm-hmm.
That being Adachi.
Yeah.
Like, I remember playing through the first time, you know, you finally get to the end, and you're like, alright, you get the option to actually try to figure out who it was. And, you know, you have basically a list of every character you've come across.
Right.
You can basically eliminate any of your party members easily, but then you have that, like, little setup that these are the criteria this guy has to meet.
Yeah.
And you look through the list, and as I'm sitting here looking at it, like, I managed to piece together right off, like, the only guy this could possibly be is Adachi.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just kind of that moment where looking over this list, thinking about that just sinks in.
Yeah, you're like, shit.
Apparently, the Adachi link on Persona 4, if you finish up that link, you find out it was him.
Oh, really? I didn't finish the link, so I wouldn't know. That sucks, though.
Yeah, it's like, no, no, don't do that.
Yeah,
That was
that's
the
dumb.
big thing I really liked was that moment where you're looking over that list and you just see his name there, and it's like, it clicks.
Yeah, agreed. That was a really cool moment for me too, because I didn't finish the social link, so I still got I got that moment,
No,
and that
apparently,
was
you
really
can
cool
help
for
him
me.
cover up the murders. I was
Wow.
like, why?
Huh.
There is no possible explanation for why you would help him do this other than you just want, I feel like being a massive douchebag right now.
Yeah, that's huh. I did not know that. That's kind of stupid.
Now, that could be wrong
Hmm.
because I've not actually done it. Like,
Me
I'm gonna
neither.
make sure to do it just because, well, I'm. That's not gonna hit me a second time going through the game.
Right. So you
I
might as well.
already know it's Adachi now.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why they put it in is for the people who already know and maybe want to spend more time with his character. But like you could have changed the last part of it. There's no reason to. You can add in this thing for people who've played the game and want to get to know his character, but don't spoil the game for newcomers at the same time.
No, I really just think they should have left that link out entirely.
Yeah,
Especially like playing through. That's the first thing I did when I saw that list. Is all right. Anyone I have a social link with, off the list.
yeah,
And of course, I took off the first dude it sets up as the guy who might be behind it.
right,
What
right.
was his name? Namatame?
Yeah,
The,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy who kidnaps Nanako.
yeah.
Yep.
I love Persona 4 so much.
It's a really good game, and I finished Golden right as they announced Persona 5, so I was like, oh yeah.
I picked up Persona 4 like at launch.
Really? Yeah. I was late to the game on that one.
Yeah. I did because my friend convinced me to pick up Persona 3. Like, he describes, like, it's like an RPG mixed with a dating simulator. I played Thousand Arms. That is not going to end well. Now, if you've not played Thousand Arms,
I have
don't.
not. I have not.
Most people don't even seem to have heard about that game.
I remember hearing the title in passing, but I don't really know much about it.
That's for the best.
All right,
Like,
I'll keep it that
it's
way.
nowhere near the worst RPGs I've played, but it's the bad kind of cheesy
Oh yeah, yeah. I
and
can
dull
see that.
combat.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
But yeah, I'd had the misfortune of playing that one day, so I was like, RPG dating simulator, this can't work at all. But I was horribly wrong
Yup.
because I loved Persona 3 after playing it.
I played the beginning of it. I got distracted by something, so I never got to finish it. But I've been meaning to go back to it.
Like, on a whole, I still think 4 is the better game, but
That's generally what I've heard.
yeah, it's kind of mixed amongst like the big Shin Megami Tensei fans. And I can see why, because there's a really bizarrely different feel to them.
Yeah, I noticed
Most,
that when I started playing it.
but yeah, that's kind of how Persona works. Is there's like this overarching theme game by game.
Yeah, and I really like the different uses of color too,
Yes.
because they feel very different. Just because Persona 4 uses a lot of yellows and Persona 3 uses a lot of blues, and it makes them feel like very, very different games purely on the palette choices, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so we are now on to the Persona section of our Nintendo review.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm okay with this.
I mean, they are making a Fire Emblem Shin Megami Tensei, so it kind of ties in.
I don't even understand who came up with that.
I don't know, but it's cool.
It's brilliant.
Yep. Yep. Is it? I don't know anything about it. Is it a strategy RPG or is it like a typical
Like,
turn-based
yeah,
RPG?
Fire Emblem is a strategy RPG.
No, no, I know Fire
Oh.
Emblem. I just mean the
Shin
game
Megami?
itself. Yeah. No, the Shin Megami Cross Fire Emblem.
I think they're going more the Fire Emblem route with the
Okay,
gameplay.
I generally prefer that style actually, so I'm cool with
And
that.
it's weird because I feel I should enjoy Fire Emblem,
Mhm.
but I don't. Like
Huh. Did you play Awakening?
that's the last one I tried getting into because I'm like,
Yeah,
these games are so well made, but
they are.
for
I
me, there is one thing that will completely murder a strategy RPG, and that's
Mhm.
if a battle feels like it's dragging.
Yeah,
Like,
I can
I
see
can
that.
put up with other slower paced games that feel like they drag, but when a strategy RPG does it, it just kills it entirely for me.
Yeah. I liked the two Fire Emblem games I was really into were Path of Radiance on the GameCube, I want to say GameCube or yeah GameCube,
That sounds
and
right.
and Awakening I played through recently and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I can see that. Did you ever play Advance Wars on the Game Boy and DS?
I did not.
Those are pretty good. I liked those a lot.
I don't know, strategy RPGs of choice for me are the Devil Survivor titles from Shin Megami.
Hmm.
And I'm probably about the only person who's going to say this, but Record of the Agrest War.
I've seen that. I've shot glances at that in a game store and been like, should I? But I don't know enough about it to
Well,
take the plunge, so I'll probably do that now.
well, you can get it on PC now.
Oh, sweet! I'll have to pick that up.
It's It's named differently. It's like Agrest Record of War, but just search up Agrest.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Is it
Here's the
on
big thing you need
Steam?
to go. Yeah, Steam. I
Okay,
think is the only one that you can buy it through, but I could be wrong there.
all right.
But here's the big thing you need to know about this game is it is an insanely large time sink.
Okay.
Like you basically play through 5 generations. Like you play as your main character who basically gets an entire game's worth of story himself.
Uh-huh.
Then you're playing as like his offspring that you like pick one of 3 people that you can get in your party basically.
Yeah.
And you're now playing as him going through his story.
Hmm.
Basically his entire bloodline has been tied to this one chick. I'm
Uh-huh.
desperately trying to remember her name. I really should because she's an awesome character. But you essentially sign over your lineage to her
Hmm.
to take care of these evil fillers on different continents, breaking barriers that have been separating these places that have had no contact.
All right.
But most of the party members you get are like elves, dwarves, things that live excessively long times.
Yeah, yeah.
The first like normal human that doesn't have a way to extend his age doesn't join you till a 3rd generation,
Hmm.
and his sprite actually changes in
Oh,
the
that's
generation
cool.
after you get him.
This sounds like a really interesting game. I'm definitely gonna pick this up now.
It gets like there's a stretch 3rd generation, the
Uh-huh.
challenge ramps up.
Really.
It and there's almost not much of a difference between the difficulty modes once you learn the trick.
Uh-huh.
Like I played like there's Midas. You fight him 3rd generation. He is the point. You have to figure out this trick or you're just doomed.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a really fun combat setup strategy RPG. You can
That
like
sounds pretty
link up
cool.
your character's attacks by basically setting characters in each other's kind of zone area.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different from character to character. Like it's not a radius around them. It's
Hmm.
like one of the spots is going to be like a rook's move away from them. Maybe one
Yeah.
just several lines out. One
Hmm.
guy has a spot that's like well over halfway across both maps.
Dang.
So how you have to set your guys up is going to be fully dependent on what kind of parties you and what characters you're using.
Right. That sounds really awesome, actually. I'm big into like really difficult games with like lots of interlocking mechanics and mechanics that you really have to learn and get good at. So that
Yeah.
sounds like it'd be right up my alley.
So many characters are also very useful in their own ways.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's only a few characters I look at and go, there is no reason to ever use them.
Yeah. Huh. That sounds pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun. But
Very nice.
I think it's actually relatively cheap right now too. Like I picked it up when it was on like a 60% Steam sale.
Oh, sweet.
Like I played it back on the consoles when it originally came out, but I'm like, I'm not missing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Steam sales do that to me once in a while.
Yep.
I
That's
could just
generally what I do is just wait for like a big sale and just buy everything I want at once.
I don't even game much on my PC though.
That's my
But
main
yeah,
platform. So, yep.
I know that's been changing for me a bit more recently because again, I play a lot of RPGs
Uh-huh.
and they're starting to come out on PC now.
They
So I'm like,
are, yeah.
alrighty, I guess
Yeah.
I gotta start playing more PC games.
Yep. Yeah, well, I gotta run and write some news, but thanks for having me on. It was a good time.
Indeed, even if we completely veered off topic entirely at the end there.
Multiple times. But yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed that. You should have me on again sometime.
Oh, gladly. I'm sure we'll play a similar game at some point and disagree
Probably.
with each other on something.
Probably. All right, well, I'll talk to you later.
You too. Thanks for joining.
Uh-huh. Bye.